In Focus is powered in part by Delta Dental of Colorado, improving the oral health of the communities we serve. DeltaDentalCO.com.
Welcome to In Focus with Eden Lane.
Tonight we make our first visit to and Toto 2 Theater Company as they present the regional premiere of Pardon My Dust. Dorothy Parker is in limbo and has baggage to shed before she can move on to the next phase of her journey, and it stars the wonderful Billie McBride as Dorothy Parker and Paul Page as Janice.
Yeah.
Thanks for letting us sneak in here before your call for your performance here at and Toto 2 Theater Company's production of Pardon My Dust. First of all, I know this is not a play that I've seen before, so tell me a little bit about the play.
Well, it's a play about Dorothy Parker after she's passed away. And she is floating somewhere between we don't know where and we don't know where.
Oh.
And she...
That sounds like Dorothy Parker.
And she has loaded with baggage.
Oh.
Tons and tons of baggage that she doesn't really understand what it's all about. And he has to get her to admit certain things about herself in order for her to move on to where she's supposed to move on to.
So she can release
So
maybe
she can
some of that
release
baggage.
some of that, yes.
And not spend the rest of her days alone.
Alone.
Mm-hmm.
We've seen this device before, but when you're tackling a well-known character like Dorothy Parker with such wit, it's going to be a little different than a morality play. So what do you think is the message?
For me, I feel that the message is that we all cheat ourselves. We look in a mirror, we see something that nobody else sees. We look down at ourselves dressed in clothes, we don't see what other people see. We perform, we act, we dance, we sing. We make a judgment on what that is, whether we're any good or not. And it's not necessarily what anybody else sees. And I think that's what this is about, is her being forced to actually look at herself.
Well, a lot of her writing was very self-deprecating.
Oh,
She
yes.
put herself down, and it's documented that she did not think highly of herself. So that's...
Or many others, really.
Well, no. Yeah.
I don't
No
think
one
she
really.
didn't like them. I think that she found ways to be funny.
Yeah.
And quite often it was at their expense.
And that was probably a tool to protect herself. Even though she was so brilliant, she still felt that need. Who do you think your character is? Because it's not someone we know.
Well, yeah, Janice is the main character that I play. He's the gatekeeper. He's the one who's helping her take a hard look at herself and admit her, believe her greatness. And to get there, Janice becomes a lot of the influential men in her life. Her second husband, Alexander Wolcott, who the character Sheridan Whiteside is based on, Mark Conley, who was a drinking buddy, friend of hers from the Algonquin Round Table. Who else do I play? And I play some random characters as well, a bartender at
Just
the
to help
Algonquin.
her make it through that process.
Motivate her, inspire, remind her, a lot of reminding. You did this, you did that. What about this? You love this. I know you love this. So
Takes her to Hollywood. She meets she
I play Sam
re-meets
Goldwyn.
Goldwyn. And, yeah.
It's a pretty clever device as a piece of theater, so that we're not hearing the character talk directly to the audience all the time.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, neither of us really does
Yeah.
that. We talk to the other Algonquin Round Table people who are sort of the audience.
Sort of the audience.
Yeah.
What is that like to visit such a well-known, sort of acerbic group of people? What is that like for you? It must be great fun.
It was fun. The research was really fun.
yeah.
A lot of YouTube. Thank God for YouTube. And Google.
What did you find on YouTube about the
I actually,
Algonquin?
Robert Benchley they were best friends. He was her favorite man. And she spends a lot of the play wanting to see him, wishing he was here with her.
And probably one of the few she didn't sleep with.
Right, they were very close. They were what
Can
the
I say
kids
that?
called, they were besties, you know. So I did, there's YouTube of him because he, after his writing career, went to Hollywood and did a lot of short films in the 40s. So I found some YouTube of him so I could kind of get an idea of his vocal patterns. And he was very affected in the way he spoke. It was a little bit like Hepburn, not unlike Katharine Hepburn.
Not one of your favorite things to have to tackle as
Right,
an actor.
you know, actors, accents, no.
Yes.
How about you taking on her manners? Even though most of us know Dorothy Parker, I think many don't realize what she was like.
Well, I read the book, What Fresh Hell Is This? And so I got a little bit of a background by what other people said about her. Now, on YouTube, you can look up Dorothy Parker, and there are pictures of her reciting poems. And I told Susan, our director, that she would do da-da-da-da, da-da-da-da.
Her cadence, yeah, was.
Da-da-da-da. She said, they'll go to sleep. So I don't know really how she walked, how she talked, what she really sounded like. Tallulah Bankhead did a great many of her poems. And you can, those I found even more interesting than Dorothy's. But
So you had to kind of invent some of her physicality and her cadence. So what was your source for doing that?
oh, just the words in the play and the word, I mean, just, it's the way the play's written, and then falling in love with everything she wrote. She's just amazing. The things that she said that none of us really remember. I mean, we think other people said it. Somebody said to me after opening night, I would have never thought it was Dorothy Parker who said that.
Yeah.
Because she just astonishing.
Her wit has tentacles that reaches through our
Everywhere.
culture. Yep.
Absolutely.
Everywhere, and still today.
Well, I haven't had a chance to come and see you yet because you've only had, what, 2 days?
Yeah.
2 performances.
Two
yes.
performances. I did get a chance to read through the script ahead of time. I want to know what your reaction was when you read the script.
I loved it.
Yeah, I did too.
Susan had come to us 2 years ago. We did a reading of the play at the Denver Victorian, and the playwright, Anne Welsbacher, came in. She lives in Wichita. She came in, and we did a reading, and it went very well.
Yes.
And we just, both of us fell in love with it, and we've been waiting. We've had to make some schedule changes to make it happen, but Susan kept us, in the loop.
Yes, it's
Checking in with us, are we still on board? Are you guys still interested? And I think it's so. Well, in addition to
it's an
being
amazing piece.
an articulate, intelligent piece from an actor's perspective, it's a field day for me to be able
Even
to
though it's
play
just the two of you.
8.
Yeah.
And Billie and I have
it's
been
really,
friends,
you
good
know,
friends for a long time, and so for
Yeah.
us to get the chance to do this together, it's a dream.
Well, the playwright had a daunting task. If you're going to write about someone from the Algonquin group, you
Yeah.
really have to have mastered some language,
Yeah.
if nothing else. But there
Yes.
seems to be a lot of rhythm on the page. Did you find it that way when you were reading it?
There's a lot of rhythm. Anne's put a lot of stuff into this piece. I found that rather than read them as poems, Susan and I did Susan Lyles, who's our producer and director, and I felt that I really should take liberties with everything. And so I won't do that kind of thing.
Imitation,
but
yeah.
Your acting teacher will be proud that you didn't do that.
very proud. If he were still alive, he would be thrilled. But no, I think that when I first read this piece, when Susan sent it over, and I first read it, I have been so lucky to get to play some glorious women since I've been here, and I got to be Gertrude Stein and Alice Toklas in the same play.
Oh my goodness.
Yes. And to get, but Dorothy has something about her, and a sadness about her.
Do you think this is a sad play? Do you think it's a sad piece?
No,
It seemed quite humorous to me as I was reading it. Is that just because I'm hearing Dorothy Parker's writing, or is it really a funny piece?
It's funny. A great deal of it's funny, but it does have its moments. It really does have moments, especially at the ending.
Toward the end, yeah.
Toward the ending. The fact that she is afraid of being alone in the beginning. Audiences aren't really quite sure yet what to think. But then once we get into all those glorious one-liners and things that she did.
Her wit and that core, that heart about being afraid of being alone or not liking yourself very much. I think that's what makes it very contemporary.
Yes.
What is it like for you to work in this kind of milieu with a friend of yours?
Oh, it's great. I mean, we've just, from start to finish, just, I went through, my part of my process is like, for about a week, I beat up on myself and say, I'll never get these lines. And I didn't have a lot of monologues or anything like that. Just the switching of characters. And from the beginning, Susan was so hands-on with, let's not do that voice or pull back on that, or she helped me understand that each of them were distinct enough, because Janice, the main character I play, is, I don't really, it's kind of me.
It's kind
Janice
of you.
is kind of me, and so I wanted the other guys to be representative of who these men were, especially the real people. Wolcott is an interesting character, but he's the first one you see. So I wanted.
Is this a device where Janice is summoning these characters for her?
I think he has the ability to become them. Yeah.
It's not
and
really
it's a
them,
prop.
it's him.
Yeah, it's a
shadowing
costume
it.
piece or something that just kind of, with Wolcott, it's the round glasses.
And that just tells us that we're going to see you being led through a lot of your life.
And forced, really, to meet everyone again. Forced to be in that room with all of those people again, the round table people again, and the sense of what she felt of them. And what she felt of Wolcott, and even though you don't see him, what she thought of Charles MacArthur.
He's mentioned.
And
We're having
the
a
kind
blast.
of thing that actors love to do. And I especially, because I would have killed to have been able to sit, as a friend last night said, in the table next to that
That's
round
right.
table.
Yes.
Because I wouldn't dare sit at their table, but I'd love to listen in.
Yes.
Listen in to everything
Oh,
that they have
absolutely.
to say, yeah.
Yeah.
You can imagine that anyone near them at that time just kept ordering more rounds, so they didn't have to leave.
Oh, I know. That's a large part of this play. We spend a lot of the play. I say, look, there's George Kaufman.
Yeah.
Ring Lardner sitting over here. It's been a blast, just a dream.
And it's interesting to me that you say this process began with Anne Toto 2 Theater Company more than a year ago when you did a reading. And they kept this in mind with the two of you in mind all this time. What is it like to work for a small company like that in this kind of space? Because not many other theaters would really add this to their season, especially at this part of the season, because it is a tinier show.
Well, it's the lovely thing about Anne Toto 2 is that they are a women's base. They do women playwrights. And when we did the reading of it, and Anne Welsbacher was in to see it with her father, who had directed the one and only other production of it.
The world
that had
premiere,
ever- she said to Susan, I really would love it if those two did this.
It was very flattering.
So we were
Wow.
thrilled. Yeah, but it's
that's
one
both
thing.
a compliment and kind of a weighty responsibility, don't you think?
Well, she was here opening night too, so that was a little worrisome for me, just because Anne's not a stickler. If you miss a word here, miss a word there of her part of the script, she's not going to yell at you or be. But I can imagine that Anne would yell at anyone. But if I don't do something that's absolutely perfect of Dorothy's stuff. That you have to think about. So even though I've tried to absolutely get her verbatim, it's sometimes hard.
Especially since you're not merely reading it, it seems as though from your description, it's as if she's remembering it and almost creating it as she's saying her piece.
It's
Remembering that
some
moment.
of the stuff is We do a lot of writing in books or typing, as though, even though he's mentioned you were this, I begin
It's kind
to
of
do
recreating,
it.
yeah.
Recreating the thing. So you'd notice that our books are all written in and the paper's all typed on, specifically for it to be that even though we're watching her do it, it's already been done.
It's already been done.
Yeah.
If you had the chance to have this experience that's described in this play, what do you think it would be like for you?
Wow. That's an interesting question.
I read a book once where somebody said that when you die, you will see, as you go through the tunnel and you come out the other side, you will see what you believed the strongest in. So if you believed very, very strongly in Jesus Christ, that's who will greet you. If you believed very strongly in Muhammad, that's who will be there. If you believe very, very strongly, as Dorothy did with this love of Robert Benchley, so that it was kind of a really neat thing, though, to think of it that way. Wouldn't it be wonderful if you knew that something you loved, or someone you loved, more than anything else in the world, was waiting for you to kind of ease you through? So
That would be
kind of-
lovely.
If it happened to
Yeah.
me, I'd have a lot of people to apologize to.
So for you, it
Followed
would be
by a big
series of
party.
apologies
Yes,
and a party.
and a big party, yeah.
So
That would be it.
if it is true that that's what you see, what you believe in the most, obviously you're actors, you're artists, so you believe in theater and storytelling. But what do you think you would see if you had this experience?
Oh, gosh. If I did, I'd see my mother.
I was just going to say the same exact thing, honey.
You would see her mother
I
too?
would, no, I'd love to see. I would hope to see my mother. I'd hope she'd be there with her arms outstretched. It's been 25 years.
It's been 25 years. I think a lot of people can identify with that sentiment, wanting to see their mother. And I think this kind of storytelling helps us make sure that we don't necessarily miss the chance to appreciate it while we're experiencing it. Do you think that's kind of on the mark with this storytelling?
I think there's a lot
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah. As funny as it is. As funny as this
Oh,
is.
yeah.
of that. As funny as it is.
I've told
yes.
people at my day job, what's it about? Well, Dorothy Parker has died, and it's about, so the play,
Dorothy
she's
Parker
dead.
has died.
The
It's a
whole
comedy.
play is dead. She's dead?
The whole place, she's dead.
Oh, God, you'll love it. It's a riot. Yeah.
So why do you think she has trouble deciding where to go or where she is?
I don't think it's that she has a difficult time. She's ended up somewhere. I mean, this elevator door has brought her to this place,
And he refers to it as a way station.
which
Yeah.
Darren Smith has designed this, what is really very close to what the Algonquin looked like.
The elevator and,
And the elevator and the coloring and everything. So
And the martini shaker.
and the
Yes.
martini shaker,
One of my props.
which we put to good use. Yes, he plays a bartender as well. She, I don't know. It's so hard to explain. I
Yeah.
can't explain it.
Yeah.
I wish I could explain it.
Well, the best way to explain it is to come and see this
It's-
wonderful production.
Absolutely.
It is.
It's been delightful to visit with you both again, and for such a wonderful occasion. I can't wait to come back and see Pardon My Dust.
Yes, please.
I
We
Can't
would
wait to
love
see
have
you.
here.
Thank you.
Thanks for making time for me
Thanks.
today.
Oh, thank you for coming.
Now a glimpse of this special production at Anne Toto 2 Theater Company.
What do you think? I'd rather have a bottle in front of me than a frontal above me.
Oh, we missed you at the theater last night. They had to fill in with an understudy. The leading lady broke her leg.
Well, she probably did it sliding down a barrel. Life is a glorious cycle of song, a medley of extemporanea, and love is a thing that will never go wrong. And I am Marie of Romania.
Pardon My Dust plays at the Laundry on Lawrence through April 6th. All the details are available at the webpage andtoto2.org. The Arvada Center is bringing us a special limited engagement of a Broadway classic, Man of La Mancha. Here's a highlight.
Did my lady think to put me to the test? Ah, sweet sovereign of my captive heart, I shall not fail thee, for I know I have dreamed thee too long, never seen thee or touched thee, but known thee with all of my heart. Half a prayer, half a song, thou hast always been with me, though we have been always apart. Dulcinea, Dulcinea, I see heaven when I see thee, Dulcinea, and thy name is like a prayer an angel whispers. Dulcinea, Dulcinea. Hear me, heathens and wizards and serpents of sin, all your dastardly doings are past. For the holy endeavor is now to begin, and virtue shall triumph at last. My destiny calls and I go, and the winds of fortune shall carry me onward, for whithersoever they blow. Whithersoever they blow, onward to glory I go.
Man of La Mancha has a limited run at the Arvada Center through April 14th. Details are available at arvadacenter.org. Inside the Orchestra is a Colorado orchestra performing for children. Here's a look at some of their programming.
My name is Tom Jensen, Music Director of the JSG. In the next few minutes, you will see and hear our professional musicians interact with some of the children from the Front Range in an unusual and fascinating way, inside the orchestra. We have two programs, Tiny Tots inside the orchestra, pictured here for preschoolers and early elementary students, as well as Inside the Orchestra, a chamber ensemble for grades 1 through 5. The 20-some excerpts included in each 47-minute program are drawn from standard repertoire, the movies, TV, and cartoons, with theater of the mind activities for the kids to engage in while listening to the music. Over 50 concerti were performed for young people, by young people last season. Here now is one of our soloists. We highlight opposites in orchestra music. Right now, rough and smooth. And speaking about orchestral contrasts, here's some orchestra music that can't decide if it's slow or fast. pretend to dance to orchestra music. And now we grow to orchestra music that grows in volume. The kids make believe they are giants to the music by the composer Prokofiev. And now they're running away from giants to the music by Stravinsky. What concert would be complete without the Lone Ranger theme, with kids riding horses?
Inside the Orchestra presents Tiny Tots at Temple Emmanuel on April 30th. Details are available on their webpage, InsideTheOrchestra.com.
That's all for this edition. Remember to join us on Facebook and Twitter. With all that Colorado has to offer, we're here to help you keep it in focus. Thanks for watching. Good night.